Hello, my name is Sam Feltham, and welcome to Expert Interviews here on Smash the Fat. With me today is my cousin, in fact, and very good friend as well, Ben Ashworth. How you doing, Ben?
I'm fine, thank you. Feeling good?
Awesome, awesome. So you've got a T-shirt on there that says Ben's bowel movements, which
Yeah.
kind of sounds a bit weird. But if you want to tell us a bit about your current situation and what you're doing to rectify it, that would be great.
Well, I've got terminal bowel cancer. I was diagnosed with bowel cancer in 2012, in March 2012. And yeah, so last year, having had a couple of different types of chemo, our oncologist sadly told us that because the chemo hadn't had any effect on my cancer at all, my cancer was incurable. And so embarked upon a new course of treatment, which is thankfully working. It won't cure me; it's keeping it at bay. But I'm going to be on that chemo now as long as it'll work. At the beginning of this year, I decided really that my situation had sort of stabilised a little bit, and I felt fit, a little bit fit and a bit healthier. So I decided to start running again. I started running, started piling on the miles, felt really good about that, and I decided to do the marathon I'd always wanted to do. I got a place through the amazing Beating Bowel Cancer charity at the Berlin Marathon in September. And I was a bit concerned it was a bit too far away in terms of time and wondered if my health might hold. So I booked a marathon in Blackpool just gone last month, and so then I decided to fill in the gaps. 6 marathons in 6 months, and decided to call it Ben's Bowel Movements.
Very apt, very apt.
Well, it's obviously my name's Ben. I've got bowel cancer, and a marathon is a movement. As much as a regular bowel movement is as well. So.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, and it's an incredible challenge that you've set yourself. Not everybody with incurable cancer would think, right, so what I'm going to do is run 6 marathons in 6 months. Quite an undertaking. And so far you've done one of those marathons.
Yeah, yeah.
So tell us how you got on with that marathon.
It was brilliant. I've been anybody will listen. I've just been saying, for that marathon anyway, and this one, the next one is true as well. That I just not been able to wipe the smile off my face, lining up on the start line. I never thought I'd be able to do it. It's a fantastic opportunity for me, and I just love running. It was hard. It was really hard. It was very, very flat as well. So that's gonna be a challenge. But yeah, 5.5 hours I ran it in. So it's by no means a record breaking time, but it was thoroughly enjoyable. It was quite hard, but I did like it.
Absolutely, absolutely. And how are your energy levels through that? Because that's probably something that a lot of people would be worrying about with that.
In terms of my training beforehand, or just during the marathon?
Just during the marathon to start with.
Yeah. I was pretty good up until about 22 miles. I think I was obviously achy like anybody else would be, but then I crashed. 22 miles. But in terms of my general fitness and health, I think I'm doing okay. So I don't think the cancer made any difference to that. I think the chemo certainly makes a difference.
Yeah.
The chemo makes me very tired. And the
I
chemo
remember.
No, of course. Well, yeah, it makes me very tired. Gives me a lot of fatigue and nausea. So just trying to cope with that is quite difficult in training, especially. But yeah, no, it was certainly quite tough, the marathon.
Yeah, absolutely. So not only are you training for 6 marathons, but you also have to hold a family together, of three beautiful daughters,
Yeah.
and a beautiful wife as well. So how's this kind of impacting your family as well?
I think I'm very, very lucky that well, with setting embarking upon these marathons, I'm very lucky that my wife is so supportive. She has really got on board with it, and I couldn't be doing it without her. And she's been on some runs with me as well, which is excellent. I think the girls, they kind of miss me when I'm on long runs and stuff, and I kind of didn't realise how much of a difference that makes them. But my daughter was saying, you're not around in the morning on a Sunday, you're not around then, and so it kind of does, it definitely does impact. But I think we managed to manage that quite well, I think. And for me, it's something that's very, very important. One of my principal reasons for doing this fitness challenge is to create a memory, to do something so memorable that my girls will be in no doubt as to how much I loved running, because it's sadly very likely I won't be able to take them on their first run when they're older, but I will have hopefully put in place things, like I say, creative memories that will kind of encourage them in future to take it up for themselves.
Absolutely. I mean, it's an incredibly positive role model that you're setting for your girls. And so. I mean, well, absolutely, mate. I mean, it's an incredible undertaking, and your goal, as well as showing your girls like that a positive can come out of a negative. You're also raising money for bowel cancer. Beating bowel cancer, as well as a few other charities as well. And at the moment, you're at just shy of £5,000, but the goal is £10,000. How's all the fundraising going for that and everything?
It's been brilliant. I've had so much support with that. So many friends, loads of different family members, and through the exposure we've got, from yourself, from guys on Twitter and Facebook, local newspapers, TV and radio, we've done really well, I think, to get up to £5,000, and I think we're really confident of meeting our target. But I think really the support we've received in terms of donations, even we've received some bigger ones, but also some small ones too, and the comments are just incredible. And I mean, people say some very, very kind things. It's very difficult to take those things on board sometimes. But I do feel, it's incredibly kind and very, very supportive of things that people do and say on there. But yeah, no, the charities we're supporting, have all helped us, or there's four charities we're raising money for, basically. Beating Bowel Cancer have supported me and my family, through the early stages of my illness, and even now. Macmillan are always on the end of the phone for us, have been fantastic. The Rosemere Cancer Foundation is where I'm treated in Royal Preston Hospital. They're just absolutely amazing. From the very first kind of person you meet at the reception, all the way to the guys, the nurses working in the clinics, the doctors, the oncologists, all the people in the treatment room, they're just fantastic. And the volunteers as well. They've got tons of really dedicated volunteers who obviously don't get paid for their efforts, but are there every week, showing such dedication. It's incredible. And finally, Click Sargent is a charity that supports children with cancer and the families of children with cancer. I consider myself so lucky, really, that it's me that's ill and not my girls, or indeed anybody else in my family. I'm really glad that it's me that's ill, and I don't know what it must be like for the families with children that have cancer. It must be incredibly hard. So that's a charity that's really touched us.
Absolutely, that's amazing. And people can donate if they go to bensbowelmovements.com, which is your blog, and then they just click on the donate button there, and that'll take them forward to the Virgin Giving Money page
Yep.
where they can donate. And also, yeah, on your blog, they can find out more information just in terms of your day-to-day life, your whole situation, and your thoughts and philosophies on life and everything like that. Now, one thing that I didn't realise before you contracted cancer was that bowel cancer is actually the second largest cancer killer, which is incredible when you think about it. But a lot of people don't know the symptoms of it and aren't really aware of it. And Beating Bowel Cancer have a campaign called Lift the Lid for obvious reasons. So yeah, can you just tell us a bit more about that?
About the Lift the Lid campaign. It's
Lift the Lid. Yeah.
It's a fantastic campaign. It's quite a funny campaign, really. It just basically encourages people, once they've been to the toilet, to lift the lid and have a look at what they've just produced. And it might not be everybody's cup of tea, and I'm sure it's the furthest thing from people's minds once they've been to the toilet. They just want to forget about it. But really, it's one of the best ways of just keeping a check on things, keeping an eye on your health. If you have persistent change in your bowel habits, if you've got it sounds gross, but if you've got loose stools or blood in your stools, those are two of the most common symptoms for bowel cancer. If you've got pains in your tummy, in your abdomen, if you're unexpectedly tired, or if you've got a lump in your abdomen, or have unexplained weight loss. I mean, these are all things that that could be symptoms of bowel cancer. They could be symptoms of something else as well. Obviously, Crohn's and ulcerative colitis, those are bowel conditions that have the same symptoms. But it's really just worth getting checked out, because obviously if you do have Crohn's or ulcerative colitis, you need to get that sorted as well. But I mean, I think it's, for me, the symptoms, when I think about it, and I've thought about it a lot, obviously, since I've been diagnosed, the thing I noticed most of all was the pain in my abdomen. And we later discovered that was the pain of the tumour in my bowel blocking the food going through. And I didn't have any blood in my stools. But and I think to myself, there were signs that there weren't any signs that I couldn't have picked anything out. But I've thought about it, reflected on it, and I thought I had runner's trots from all the running I was doing beforehand. I thought I had loose stools because I had a gluten intolerance or things like that. So there were signs, when I think long and hard about it, there were signs that I missed. And I think, obviously, I wish I'd picked up on those. And I would just encourage anyone, really. I would just encourage anyone at all, if they've got any of those symptoms at all, bleeding from the bottom, change in the consistency of the stools, if they've got pain in the tummy or a lump in the tummy, if they've got weight loss or tiredness, any of these things, just to kind of get it checked out, and also be persistent with it. If you don't think you're getting a fair hearing from your GP, go and see another one, or make sure your GP listens to you. With me, because I was 33 when I was diagnosed, I'm considered young to have bowel cancer. Anybody under 59 is considered young for bowel cancer. I think I was reading yesterday that 8 out of 10 bowel cancer patients are over 60, but that does mean that there are, there's that 2 out of 10 that are younger. And sadly, Stephen Sutton was a bowel cancer sufferer. And obviously he's just passed away, and he was 15 when he was diagnosed. So, just be aware. I would advise everybody just to be aware of the symptoms, and and kind of make sure that your GP gives you a fair hearing, because it isn't hypochondria, it isn't irresponsible. It is very important that everybody takes their own health very seriously and engages with that, really. So I've certainly something I feel very passionate about.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's what I'd advise my friends and my siblings to do. You know, I always consider myself as a bit of a kind of bowel cancer pioneer in my family. You know, I'm happy because I'm the eldest of my siblings. I'm happy to be a trailblazer for the rest
Yeah,
of them.
certainly, mate.
And it's, you know, when my brother and my sister went for colonoscopies after I was diagnosed, and I was just hugely relieved when they came back clear. It might sound really trite, but I was genuinely just very grateful for that.
Absolutely. And I mean, we're very fortunate in the UK to have the NHS on hand.
Definitely.
So we can just, you know, book an appointment with your GP to get it checked out. I mean, my experience with cancer is that I did have to go back to the GP a few times because it was quite common at the time, because I had a lump in my throat. In my lymph node gland. It's quite common for pubescent boys to have swelled lymph nodes, but we went back a few times, and then on the third time it was like, right, let's get this biopsied and tested, and unfortunately it came back with that it was cancerous and there was Hodgkin's disease. But thankfully the NHS saw me right, and I was cleared within like four and a half months of chemo. So yeah, that was pretty incredible. So yeah, the earlier that you can catch it, any form of cancer, the better, basically. How has your experience been with the NHS?
Oh, tremendous. I mean, we went through the range of things initially with the GP. At first, they thought I had appendicitis, then IBS and Crohn's and colitis. But I mean, I say that, but from the first symptoms that I was strongly aware of to diagnosis was 4 months. And, you know, obviously during that time we thought it was appendicitis and IBS and Crohn's, but there wasn't a great deal of time that had elapsed. And I felt that, you know, my GP and the hospital were on top of things. And then when I was diagnosed, they gave me my surgery, you know, 6 days later. So they say that the bowel in my the lump in my bowel was the size of a peach, they said.
Right, yeah.
And it's the largest. It was the largest sort of size they consider operating on. I'm incredibly glad that they did. But the day after I was diagnosed, the doctors on the rounds were at my bed, and they were saying, you know, well, we've had a look at it, you know, we've seen it on the scans. It's the size of a peach, but, you know, until we go in, we're not quite sure what it's going to be. We'll need to take a biopsy and look at it and stuff. And I said, well, what if it's an actual peach in there that's got stuck? And I think, you know, it turned out not to be a peach. And to be honest, I kind of don't really eat peaches, so I'm not sure how one would have got there, but it made them laugh, and it was that's what I've always tried to do during my experience of cancer, really, just to make people laugh. But my doctors have been incredible. I've had 2 fantastic surgeons. You know, I say the doctors I've encountered have been as much nurses as doctors in a lot of ways. The caring, compassionate attitude they've shown me is just you know, amazing, and I've been very, very, very grateful for that. And our oncologist, especially, we've known him now for over 2 years. My wife was pregnant, 3 months pregnant with my youngest daughter Heidi. We went to see him, and she's now very nearly 2. So we've been through a whole lot with our oncologist. I always call him the Indian uncle I never knew I had. He's a tremendous guy. He's just lovely, and I'm actually the 3rd of his patients that's run a marathon under his care. Wow. So I think that doesn't say anything about us. That says a lot about him and his attitude, I think, really, and how he enables people to do things, and with his positivity, he's incredible. And he's actually coming to see me run in the marathon at the weekend, which is incredible. I've never heard of an oncologist coming to visit, going to watch some madcap embarrass himself on a hilly marathon course before.
This next one's going to be pretty tough, isn't it? It's a bit hillier than the last one.
Yeah, yeah, it really is. I mean, yeah, it's in in the marathon there's 640 feet of elevation gain, so it's very hilly. It's not merely hilly in terms of the elevation. It's also undulating, ridiculously
Mm.
undulating. It was going to be quite a challenge, but if I was to do 6 marathons in the autumn that were all, very, very flat, I could, yeah, gosh, I could do the Berlin Marathon, I could do the Amsterdam Marathon, I could, you know, it wouldn't. This is it's an added challenge, and it's going to be very hot as well. On
Mm.
somebody, I was interviewed by our local radio station this morning, BBC Radio Lancashire, and he was telling me that it's set for a heat wave on Sunday in
Right.
Windermere, and I really didn't need to hear
Ideal.
that.
No, that's not good, is it?
No, no,
So it's gonna be tough, but
I'm really
yeah,
looking forward to it. I mean,
you're gonna smash it, mate. You're gonna smash it either way.
well,
It doesn't matter.
whatever happens, yeah. I mean, it's a win-win, isn't it? I was saying to my mum earlier, what's the worst that can happen? And she said, "Oh, Ben, I don't want to think about that." I said, "Well, not literally the worst thing."
Right. Yeah.
But well, no, I mean, it's I'm really, really, really excited, genuinely excited about it. It's I think, like I've said, I never expected to be able to run a marathon. So to be able to be looking at doing 6, to be signed up for 6 and doing 6 marathons is like 6 times the joy, really.
Mhm.
I know how lucky I am. I've lots of guys aren't able to do what I'm doing in my
Absolutely.
situation, and it's for them, really. And there's one guy who I've gotten to be friendly with. He just he does a bit of gardening in the morning, and sadly that's him for the rest of the day. He's just too tired to do anything else. He can't get in the bath. He has to have showers because he just can't get out of the bath. So I'm in a much better situation. I mean, for us, who knows how long that'll last for.
Mm.
But I'm grateful to be given this opportunity, really, to raise a bit of awareness and try and raise a bit of money also.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Mm.
Yeah, it's an incredible situation that you're in, and you're dealing with it so positively, and you're trying to be as proactive as you can with your exercise as well as your diet as well. Trying to avoid as much sugar as
Mm.
possible is probably the most important thing for you. And we've had a few conversations about your diet, and the best kind of evidence that we have at the moment is that a real foods ketogenic diet is probably the best diet that anyone on that has cancer is probably best to be on for now. So yeah, how do you feel like your diet's kind of impacted you over the past near on 2 years now, isn't it?
Yeah, it's only in the last year that I've really changed. Well, a year and a bit that I've changed my diet.
Mm.
There's a really great, very wise soul who advised me on it. Um, well, that's you, of course.
Yeah, thanks, Ben.
You don't have a competitor. No, I think changing my diet has been one of the most proactive steps I've taken. Obviously, the exercise is really important as well, and my
Mm.
positive attitude also. But cutting out, well, having a low carb, low sugar diet is very important to me. It's made a great deal. I was after Christmas a couple of years ago, I was carrying loads of extra weight. Going through chemo during Christmas and being on steroids is
Mm.
not it's not it's not very good for your figure. Um, but
Not really.
no. Well, the ketogenic diet really helped me get a handle on that. So I lost weight, which is fantastic. But also losing weight meant that it was easier for me to exercise, and I felt more comfortable doing that. So it's all
Hmm.
a part of a whole.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, absolutely.
but yeah, knowing that I'm doing all I can to cut out the sugar and in carbs in my diet to get rid of that glycogen, to deny my cancer a potential fuel source is
Hmm.
very important. And that I changed my diet alongside starting my new chemo regimen. I've had now 3 courses of chemo, and the scans have all come back positive. And I do credit a lot of that success with changing my diet, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I know I always say, and I've told you this many times, that it just feels so great to be able to make a change, to be able to be proactive and do something for myself. There's only so much prayer I can do. There's only so much treatment I can have, you know, and certainly the things that I can do are very important as well. And certainly I think the ketogenic diet is key to that.
Absolutely. And you feel that's kind of like the real foods element, at least, is kind of filtering down to your kids as well.
Definitely. I mean, I think I'm really fortunate. My wife's taken on board the diet as well, and so she's been cutting a lot of carbs out of her diet as well. And yeah, and she's noticed lots of positive changes too. And I think, I mean, obviously in terms of losing weight or you know, feeling more comfortable and feeling like I'm battling cancer myself, but you know, in terms of the blood sugar levels, you know, I find that I don't fluctuate as much. I don't have, you know, I used to feel faint a lot, really, and I don't get that anymore. And I think, you know, I can run. I used to have breakfast before I ran in the morning, and I can just run for hours, literally hours in the morning without eating anything, which is brilliant. But the girls, yeah, the girls, yeah, they've we've always eaten well. We've always eaten, you know, a lot of our 5 a day, you know, fruit and veg.
Yeah.
But we just don't have it in the house as much. We don't eat as much pasta. We don't eat as much bread. So it's just I don't eat it. My wife doesn't eat it, and the girls are eating it less and less now as well.
Absolutely. That's awesome, and yeah, it is. It's certainly empowering that at least you have you're in control of at least one aspect of your treatment.
Definitely.
And it's probably the most proactive thing that people can do is to go on a real foods ketogenic diet to at least start with. From my interview last week with Professor Dominic D'Agostino, from what he was saying, is that it really kind of depends if your cancer is very glucose dependent, and that can kind of come from your PET scans, which I know that you've had, and those seem to be very reactive with the PET scans and things, because they actually use kind of radioactive glucose to highlight the cancer, and if that is very active, it means more than likely that the cancer cells run on purely glucose. And so denying them any glucose, as you were saying earlier, is probably the best thing that you can do. So then your body's just purely running on fatty acids, essentially. So yeah, it's absolutely amazing. And people can come find out more information about a ketogenic diet in lots of different therapies, from epilepsy to cancer, at charliefoundation.org, which is the largest foundation about ketogenic diet therapies, based in America, set up by Jim Abrams. So people can go check out more information there. But more importantly, do you have any kind of last words of wisdom to people about lifting the lid on bowel cancer?
I think basically that talking about poo is it's not meant to rhyme, but talking about poo is a huge taboo. You know, it is something obviously we don't do, you know, a lot, and I think it's really important to break that down. Really, I think talking about poo, looking at your stools, getting over that hurdle, you know, it could save your life. If people, I mean, 90% of cases, if it's caught early enough, 90% of folks can, you know, survive bowel cancer. It is, you know, the cure for bowel cancer is, you know, early diagnosis, and the earlier the better. And the key to that is looking at your poo, If it's loose, if it's blood in your stools, if you have pain in your tummy, if you've got a lump in your tummy, if you are tired for no reason, or if you've started losing weight. I lost a lot of weight. I didn't realise it, but looking at the pictures after my surgery, I'd lost a lot of weight. And if you notice anything like that happen, you need to see your GP and persist. Persist with your GP.
Absolutely, because it's your health, isn't it? And we're all kind of in control of it to a certain extent. And you just have to kind of persist with your doctor and saying
I think
something's not right.
It's taking. I think obviously with exercising right and eating right, we're taking responsibility for our own bodies. I think by approaching your doctor and making sure he or she gives you a fair hearing, that's taking responsibility for your health as well. That's taking responsibility for your well-being in much the same way. So I think that's something, because like you say, the NHS is a fantastic resource. It's a wonderful organisation we have in this country. Obviously, sometimes diagnoses are missed, but it is a fantastic organisation, and we're very, very lucky in this country to have it. Definitely.
Absolutely, and people should utilise it. I mean, it's your taxpayers' money, so use it. If you pay your tax anyway, at least. Anyway, thank you again so much today, Ben, and everybody can check out everything to do with Ben's challenge at Ben's Bowel Movements, all one word, bensbowelmovements.com. Check out his blog. Be sure to donate as much as you can. Get it up on the screen there, Ben. And be sure to just donate as much as you can. It can range from £1 to £1,000 if you fancy.
Absolutely.
it.
Definitely.
And all is very, very welcome. Cool. Well, thanks again, Ben.
It's a pleasure. Thanks, Sam.
And I'll hopefully come up north, and maybe I should enter myself into one of these marathons and do it with you.
I think if me running a marathon proves anything, it's just that anybody can do it.
Absolutely. So that's my challenge. Okay, we'll try and work out which one I'm going to do.
rock and roll.
Let's do it. Let's smash it out, mate. Let's smash it out.
Well, you just talk yourself into it.
I know. I'm always up for a challenge, though. You know that, mate.
I know, it's awesome.
So, perfect. So again, thank you. Thanks a lot, Ben, and I'll see you soon, mate.
All right. See you later. Bye.
Bye.